For student petition P20-14-15 to reinstate with conditions, and for student petition P09-15-16 to reinstate with conditions. The action determined was to reinstate with conditions, and it was a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Procedural issues. Recording this meeting being made shall be kept for 30 days as public record. Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, buddy. Are you playing basketball? You guys want?
I guess we wore Oscar out now.
I'm here, Mr. Ellis here, Mr. Starkey's here, Mr. Oscar's not here, and Ivy is here. Approve agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second. Mr. Starkey is here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Reports. Board member communication. Or do you, we'll go ahead. Do you have any?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll let you go. Go ahead.
Okay. All our basketball teams are doing great. Each team has played 2 games and have won. Staff is currently doing the Angel Tree, where students have been selected to receive gifts by anonymous donors. The choir will be having a winter performance next Tuesday, December 15th. The choir will also be having a breakfast at Homo Hall for senior citizens and will sing jingles. ASB has been selling at games and we are doing incredibly well. And Chaco Middle School staff and students want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
When's your next home game?
Hello?
Next game.
It's Monday.
You're doing
What time?
It's at 3. 3 for the
There's a
girls.
schedule
Ask her
on the
another question.
TMS website.
Yeah.
I was told yesterday
Did you score?
On the RHS
Yeah.
website
To
as well.
somebody.
that doesn't use a computer. Fixes cars with a
Thank you,
computer.
Board members. Mrs. Kirk.
Oh, you're starting with me? 'Cause I got out of line for a second. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say the team, my granddaughter's on the 6th, 7th grade team, and they've been doing really well, the 2 that we've seen. And the kids are just good. They're, and I'm not saying that because the other teams aren't, they've just got good skills and I'm sure it's got something to do with the coaching too. So, and the principal, of course, is out there and, cheering them on. Well, you are, so, and the snack bar is doing a really good job. If you want nachos, that's the place to go. Because I think every kid at Tropico goes and eats their nachos. Anyway, they're doing a really good job. We went to a conference this past week, and to me, it was one of the best ones that I'd been to. They had a lot of really good information, and it was really good to be in San Diego, where it was nice and no wind and stuff. But anyway, it was really great, and I think we all had a really educational time down there. I know Oscar did. He kept talking about all the stuff that he was learning, and it was like, okay, but it was awesome because that's what it's for. When the students go, it's really great. Other than that, we're gonna be here next week, right? Okay, then we'll hold off on the Merry Christmas till next week. Thanks for coming.
Just echo it,
Sandy.
yes, Sandy said. And it was amazing. It was nice to see old friends. It was nice to make new friends. It was nice to be in some of the groups and some of the information meetings. 2 of the largest ones were unfortunately what happened to San Bernardino with the safety and that was one of the largest ones. And then of course again social media and how that's being used. And it was informative. We had good speakers, and it was great hanging out with my fellow board members. I will just pass this along. Saturday, we're having breakfast with Santa at West Park Elementary, and please come out. It's from, I believe, 8 to 11, or 8 to 12? I'm not sure, 8 to, okay. And it's $5, and children, I love this, children too are free with parents. If you are a 2-year-old without your parents, we got an issue
Forget
there.
it.
Yeah. So, you know. Oh, and this is for it's a fundraiser for the junior class, for the class of 2017, which my daughter is, and she'll be there helping. Yes, and there'll be a visitor from the North Pole, people there with pictures, and that's a little extra, you know. But it's all good. Anyway, I would like to thank the board here, Mr. Weinstein, for allowing AYSO to use the field. Unfortunately, about 45 minutes after we were done, some lovely persons decided to overturn and break our goals. So yeah, it was just really unfortunate. We're going to be able to fix those, but I don't know why you would want to do that. That just ruins it for everybody. So now we've taken them down. We have 2 left up, and those will be coming down once playoffs and all-stars. But we're in the playoffs and all-stars, and that will start in January. And so, you know, you can, like I said about 9/11, you can knock us out, but you'll never, you can knock us down, but you'll never knock us out. So, you know, I don't know why you would want to do that in the first place, but, you know, and we did pursue police action. We had an officer come out and take pictures, and so we have information, and we know what the car looks like, and even license plate. So, but to do that just ruins it. You know, not only for all the little folks. You know, they just want to kick the ball around. It's always the big people again that cause all the headaches, it seems. But and there's people in this room that are volunteers, and I thank them profusely. This is Norman, and I, you know, I'll say this again. I think Oscar had a great time there. Like you said, you learned a lot. And we just have to get one more person in this district to go, and that's Miss Gaxiel, but I know she's busy, she'll never go. But,
She's got a
that's right, yeah, she's really in charge and we're gone, so. Oh, I meant that.
She's
lovely
always
lady
in
at
charge.
the
What are you talking about?
But it was a great time, thank you.
Mr. Stark?
Thank you all for coming out tonight. I was able to attend CIF cross country, and as I recollect, there has never been a CIF girls team make it to state, which we did. Previous to that, there was 2 girls that were able to make state on their own, which was one, my daughter, the previous year, and Melissa Olmos. So previous to this year, only 2 members of Roseman High School has ever been made it to state on the girls cross country team, which our girls cross country team this year, all 7 members made it. So that was incredible, and they were represented us very well there. So that was very encouraging too.
Broke their PR by 2 minutes.
Yes. I mean, just all girls placed really close. I mean, they're really good. Every girl increased their time this year, so that was incredible. Also went down to the trade show. Except I go on a different role. I go as a delegate for our area as well as Region 12B. Which is Kern, Tulare, you know, big old area. But what we did is we went over some of the laws that the governor has vetoed, and then some of the laws that he actually is enacting. We went over a lot of those, and we also hired Chris Unger as the president of CSBA for this year. So we were quite busy. I was able to attend a couple of the meetings, which I will be talking to the board about because I think we need to do a little bit of changes. So yeah. With that, pre-Merry Christmas.
Hi. Yeah, we did a lot of classes the last few days, and it was very interesting. Same as it is every year. They always have something new going on. We get to find out a lot about the new regulations that the state is coming out with and what they expect to implement. So it's really nice to be able to go to these conferences and get a head start on what we need to do with our district to keep us safe, keep us out of trouble, and help us do our job so you guys can do your job. Mr. Reader.
Echo all that. It was a fun time, and we did learn a lot. And there's always the hot issues. And then on the way down, we listened to San Bernardino thing. I was listening to XM radio. So on that, make sure you guys evaluate your homes and make sure you know your kids know what to do, and you never know when a situation will arise or where it'll arise. And, just make sure you have those things in order to make sure you can get a hold of each other and else. That's all I have. Yes. Of course, that'll be done next week. RTA report. CSCA. Comments from the public. Members of the public may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board by submitting presentation requests to the secretary. Members of the public are strongly urged not to mention personnel by name and are reminded that they do not have immunity from legal action if personnel are named. The board may limit each speaker to 3 minutes with a total of 20 minutes per topic. People wishing to speak on items that are on the board agenda will be called upon when that item is considered. People wishing to speak on items that are not on the board agenda will be called upon at this time. Since the board generally cannot take action on items not on the agenda, such items will be referred to the superintendent for handling. Cheri Fuentes, Kofal.
Where do I go?
Oh, you can.
You can talk.
You know, I'm here today because I am a parent that is very passionate for her child and for her child's education. I have a child with disabilities and with an IEP and a behavior support plan, and I only want what's best for my child, and I will continue to fight for my child and do what I think is in the best interest for my child. And I think that it's very important that I keep everybody in the loop of what I'm doing as far as keeping the special ed department, the principal at Roseman High School, Leanne Hargis, Mr. Weinstein, and now I want to come before the board because all of these people are already aware of why I'm here, and now I think that it's fair that I let you guys know why I'm here. It's no secret, like I said, Marissa has an IEP and a behavior support plan. Here we are in December. My child's IEP and behavior support plan has not been followed since the beginning of this school year. Actually, as a matter of fact, none of her teachers even had a copy of Marissa's behavior support plan until just this last week. Marissa's been suspended a couple different times. And no behavior support plan was ever implemented. None of the things in it were ever implemented. I have never received, my daughter has goals, and I've never, benchmarks and goals. I've never received goals that my daughter has reached any of these benchmarks. It's kind of been this back and forth game. It's this person's fault, it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault. Nobody has stepped up and said, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. It's my fault. Here we are trying to teach a child with special needs accountability and to be accountable for her mistakes and teaching her right from wrong. But yet I can't get a school to stand up and say, you know what? I made a mistake, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Have I in the past hired litigation and had a lawsuit against this district? I absolutely have. And I've kept my word. What I wanted done, and the school did it. It wasn't about financial gain, it was about just getting my daughter education. I just wanted hours banked, and I wanted a gentleman removed who was purposely harming my child and other special education students in this district. And it was wrong what he was doing. My child was served with a restraining order at 9 o'clock at night, and I go to court, and there's 4 other special ed students at that court. Not for Marissa, but for their own thing. And I went to the school and I said, hey, look, this is what I want to do. And I was a person of my word. And I'm still a person of my word today. That's not the route that I'm trying to go. All I want is for one person to step up and say, you know what? We made a mistake, Ms. Kofal. Marissa, we made a mistake. We're sorry. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I had an IEP for Marissa on Monday. And it wasn't to change her IEP because I'm not mad at her. There's nothing in her IEP or her behavior support plan that I want to change. I'm happy with it. But for the last 5-6 months, we've been wiping our butts with those papers. And that's not right. And I can't go back and change those months, and neither can anybody else. We can only work from today forward. But that child is owed an apology. I as her parent am owed an apology because this isn't right. Like I said, you've got everybody blaming. Who cares whose fault it is? I don't care whose fault it is. I mean, I know whose fault it is, but I don't even care. It's not about that. It's the fact that it happened. I know it happened, they know it happened. Step up and take some ownership. How can you teach her something that you're not willing to do yourself? And I mean, imagine if more parents were like me and paid attention to IEPs, where this district would be. You know, I'm actually a parent that actually pays attention to an IEP. If more parents paid attention to their child's IEP, like I said, where would this district be? Because I know for a fact that my child's not the only one. And then the other fact is that they put these first year teachers in there that have no special ed experience, and they give them no help, no support. My child started off at Roseman High School. I put her, because she wants to be like everybody else. So I put her in general ed classes. But I saw the first 3 weeks that this child was sinking. She was begging for help, and I couldn't let my child suffer. So I called an IEP in September to talk about putting her back in RSP classes because she was just failing. And at that time, when I had the IEP for 2 of her classes, you know, there was for her history and for her English class, there was only one option. They only had one RSP teacher. And they knew that that class was off the hook. They knew there was a problem in that class in September. And we hesitated on putting her in that class. But it was either put her in that class that they already knew there was a problem with, or keep her in general ed where we knew she was failing. So I had to choose between the 2 evils. So we went ahead and we put Marissa in the RSP class. Marissa was in a physical altercation, not with a female, but with a male student. This was almost 2 months ago. There is still no help in that classroom for the teacher. Just this week, Mr. Jones, just this week, a teacher went in there and started assisting, and they're starting to implement things. Almost 2 months later, back in September, they knew there was a problem in this class before my child ever went in there. So they can't say it was Marissa that made this problem. I have a problem with that. Are they going to wait till somebody gets hurt? And what's going to really upset me is if they try to blame this teacher. I went to high school with this teacher. She's an amazing person and an amazing teacher. And anybody who knows my child knows that my child does not get along with teachers or authorities. She was real quick to tell them where to go, and if they need a road map, she will draw it for them. And that's Marissa. Marissa loves this teacher. She's actually wanting to get out of one of her electives and take another English class and be in one of the other classes that's not rowdy, and she knows isn't rowdy, to be with this teacher. She is with this teacher hip to hip. She goes and was with this teacher at lunchtime. And I don't want to see the school, not necessarily the school, but certain staff or certain people try to wedge this teacher out because this parent is making a stink. Not because the teacher is doing something wrong and Marissa got into a fight with a boy in that classroom, but because this parent is saying, help this teacher be successful. Help get this teacher some help so that she can be successful. It's not, she doesn't have problems in her other periods. There's just a couple extra students in these classes that have a problem with her because she's a female. You know, I don't want to see this teacher leave. She's an amazing teacher. And not only am I here to fight for my child, I want to fight for this teacher because I see her starting to get wedged a little bit. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because should anybody who's there to help my child, I'm going to appreciate them. Like Mike and Cheryl Taylor. Excuse me again. What they do for my child and what Mike has been able to do for Marissa since she was 5 years old, I can never in my life thank that man enough. Never. And I'm not here to start any problems or start any fights or anything like that. I'm here as a concerned mother that only truly wants the best for her daughter. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Cole.
Sure, yeah, I'd like to thank you for coming to the board about this. As a parent of a special needs daughter, I too understand the painstaking things that you have to do to make sure that you get the best education for your daughter. So thank you for bringing it our attention, and we will make sure that it gets looked into. Thank
And all I
you
have
so
to
very
say
much.
is I stood up in front of everybody, and I apologize to that man.
Absolutely.
An apology is not hard to do. An apology is not hard to give, and I know in some sense it may think that that's admitting liability or whatever they may look at it as, but you know what? When you're wrong, and it's the right thing to do. And that's all I'm saying.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent report?
The only thing for tonight is just a reminder that West Park Field grand opening will be on Friday, December 11th at 10 a.m. And everybody is invited to participate in the ceremony.
As that I teach, I will not be able to be there, unfortunately. That teaching thing, 35 other students to have to take care of.
Consent items. Approved minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Could I throw a caveat in there? We have changed minutes, we have updated
That's right.
version of minutes, so we can with the modified version.
I'll make a motion to approve the modified minutes of November 18th, 2015.
Second. Mr. Oates. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. General application waiver of bonding capacity from Department of Education. Ms. Oates, call the roll.
Can I'm sorry.
What do you mean to me?
Oh, you want to? Just one.
So as the board is aware, we had a bond approved by the voters early last year, and we have already sold $10 million of that bond issuance for the purpose of developing the new Roseman Elementary School site, as well as start construction of the new elementary school. There are two laws when selling bonds that every school district has to follow. The first is that based on the total assets of the district, we cannot have more than 2.5% outstanding debt of our total assets without going to the CDE for an exception. By law, you can't have over 5%, but to get over between 2.5% and 5%, we have to go to the CDE for the waiver. That is what we're asking for tonight. Right now, currently, in our district, the total district assets on page 1, you can see, is $1.7 billion. And that's our total district assets. Currently, we're about 2.13% of outstanding debt of that $1.7 billion. We currently, if you go to page 2, we currently have $35,838,000 in outstanding debt. That is for building things like the West Park School, the gym at Tropico, and other renovations that have happened in the district in the past. And that includes the $10 million that is sitting in our account to start the construction. The construction is looking at between $23 and $24 million to build RES, which means we have to sell an additional $13 million worth of bonds in order to make sure we have enough money in the bank to pay for the school. To do that, we have to hope that in April the total assessed valuation goes up considerably, hopefully another $300 million. We are not sure it's going to do that. So in order to be sure that we have the money in the bank to pay for the school, we are asking the board to approve that the district apply for a waiver. We would be, if we sell $13 million in our bond portfolio, we would be at about 2.7% of the total bond total assets of the district. If the district assets go up a little bit, we will stay under the 2.5%, but we won't know that until June when our assets are evaluated again. So in order not to be caught unaware or be caught short, we're asking that we have the ability to sell the 12 million plus amount of bonds. The other law that we have to abide by is the promise to the taxpayers. So our promise to the taxpayers is that we will not exceed $60 per 100,000 in property taxes. With the sale of these bonds at the interest rate that we believe that we can get, the capacity of our taxpayers will only go to $47. So our taxpayers will only pay $47 per 100,000 in a taxed property taxes. So we're still well under the $60 per 100,000. The only waiver that we need at this time for the $12.3 million is the waiver of the 2.5% of our total district assets. If you turn to the last page, you'll see that if the district adopts the waiver, it still has to go to the CDE for approval. That approval won't happen until April. And once that happens in April, we can then commit the bond sale. So the bond sale will be between sometime at the end of April. If we get on the board agenda for March 10th, which I'll go up to Sacramento and be at that meeting for the CDE and ask for the bond waiver. The other part of it is, if we break ground on the RES at the end of January, which we're hoping, the completion date should be somewhere around May of 2016, and we will have used up our $10 million though by June. So if we don't get that bond sale, we'll be stuck about June, and we'll be out of money about June. So it'll happen about 2 months to 2.5 months before we're out of money in the construction process.
Now, once the school is completed, that will raise our evaluation.
Well, that'll raise the total evaluation of the district, yes. Yeah.
So then it'll bring it back down below the 2 point.
Yeah, and also there's a $350 million solar farm that still has not been included in our tax evaluation. We thought it was going to be included when we started this whole process. We thought it was going to come online and be included, but they don't evaluate it until it's been online 6 months, so they can see the kilowatts that are produced. And it's evaluated not on the actual land and solar power, it's evaluated as a commercial property, which is based on income. So that actually hasn't been evaluated, but we're hoping that it'll actually go into this April, and then we'll be good again. So either way, we'll go back under the 2.5%, but just because of the timing, and obviously we are well over capacity at RES, that the sooner we can get the school started, the better. And as you know, we've already wiped out the district office there.
I make a motion to recess the business meeting and open the public hearing.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5 ayes. At 19:40 hours. All right. Any comment?
Any questions from the public?
Oh,
Any more questions from the board?
40.
Cheri, I guess you get to represent the public, so.
I'm sitting here going, huh?
Me too, this didn't.
I agree that they tore that thing down over there by the
District office?
Yeah, I drove
The old
by,
one?
yeah, I drove by there and I saw that there was dirt.
Yes, there is dirt.
Hopefully you found this place fairly
Oh,
well.
but that little
Playground.
tiny thing is still there, the little tiny building.
Yeah.
It's about this.
And that's a historic landmark.
You said the completion was what, May?
They are, if we break ground in January, it's a 14 to 16 month completion, so
It's
they're-
2017.
2017.
2017, yes.
Oh,
I was gonna say.
That's right, I misspoke,
That's
sorry,
quick.
I apologize.
And does that include?
3 construction companies working on this one.
Right, yes, that's that,
That'll be full
that
completion?
needed.
Yes. Occupancy will start in January 2017, because in order to complete the construction, we will actually have to move part of the children into part of the completed project, and then we'll have to wipe out 4th and 5th grade classrooms, build the last part of it. So we'll actually be occupying 2 schools at once for about 3 months.
And will there be an open house prior to its occupancy?
Sure. We'll have an open house, sir.
All right. Anybody else?
So
So this is an open hearing for the, that's what's
Yes.
on the
Yes.
schools?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So the,
So it raises your property taxes, you said $47 approximately per
no,
100?
it brings your property taxes up to $47. You're already
You're already
paying
paying.
property taxes, so it
Yeah, I
increases it to the limit of $47. But when
Per
you, when you
100,000.
go to the voters and say we want to do a bond, in the prospectus, which is basically a description of the bond and the impact to the district, it gives a limit that we guarantee, that the board guarantees and the administration guarantees, that we are not going to sell bonds that will increase your taxes above $60 per 100,000 of your property evaluation. So let's just say, knock on wood, whatever, somewhere, that interest rates go to 20%, and we have to sell the bonds at 20%. Well, that will, since the taxpayers are paying the interest and paying the bonds back, that would raise your property taxes, possibly past the $60. So we would not sell the bonds at that point. But right now, because interest rates are obviously so low, it would only take your property taxes to $47 per 100,000 of your property valuation. So your tax bill goes up probably around $12 with this sale per year. Property taxes are taxed on
Gaining
top.
So
a
you
lot of it.
need, this is a public hearing, so you need to hear from the public whether that's yay or nay?
I just need to, public comment, they
They
can
have
say
a
yea or
comment.
nay.
Oh, they
You
say-
get to
okay.
ask questions and state concerns.
But we'll take your yay.
You'll what?
We'll take your yay or nay.
You'll what?
We'll hear your yay or nay.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, sure.
It's only $12, come on, it's for the
Me
kids.
12 bucks.
Oh wait, you don't,
I live here, but
you're a
yay.
resident, but you don't pay, right? Oh, so you can't, you don't really wanna say anything.
I say yay because my landlord pays it.
Yes. Oh, just- I mean, I live in town,
I'm a
so I mean,
definite
it
yay.
does affect my property taxes, but
Property
in the
tax is also
end,
part of your tax write-off, huh?
yeah, exactly, so. More back, so, I mean,
Yeah,
so, I mean, I'm all right
And a
with
long
it, but,
overdue school.
Yes, our first
say it
school-
again.
A long overdue school, elementary school.
Well, yeah, and I've been at, I mean,
Well,
trust
that
me,
was West
I work
Park
on the
was your
stage,
last
I need a
school.
room. If you give me a room, I'll say,
Oh,
go for
Gordon's
it.
Elementary School, 1953.
Wait, how big does the room have to be?
Or at least keep the stage for me.
Now, can anybody tell
Make
me
that
when,
curtain soundproof so I can't hear the kids while they're eating lunch, you know?
can you tell me what year Roseman Elementary was established?
Sorry?
What year was it made?
Oh, it has a plaque,
1953.
1942 or, no? Like, what-
Memorial was a little more than.
It's 53.
53. Oh, sorry. It's old, it's old.
And this is
Yeah.
hopefully only the beginning, so
How old is
Yeah.
Mrs.
a
Gerard?
lot of stuff.
So how long will this process take? You guys vote for it and then,
The bonds won't be sold till the end of April, because we have to go to the CDE after we ask for the waiver to ask for the waiver, so I'll go up to Sacramento and ask for the waiver.
so we really need to jump on this because obviously we want the school built fast.
Yes.
It would be nice.
Okay, well,
So Mrs. Key's grandchildren.
Yes.
Yes, sure. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll make a motion to reconvene into regular session.
Mr. Starkey. This here is at 7:45. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.